in the heart of a forgotten African village nestled at the edge of the great Nyoka forest, where ancient trees whispered secrets to the wind and the drums of the ancestors echoed through the night, lived a humble young woman named Abeni. Orphaned at a young age, Abeni was raised by her grandmother, Nana Lami, the village herbalist and keeper of old tales. Abeni was known for her kindness, her soft voice, and the way she seemed to hear things others could not: the murmurs of plants, the hum of the earth, and sometimes even the cries of animals. Though many in the village whispered that she was touched by the spirits, Abeni simply believed that the earth spoke to those who listened. One sweltering afternoon, as the sun painted golden streaks through the dense canopy of the forest, Abeni wandered deep into Nyoka in search of rare herbs to help her grandmother treat a fever that had begun to spread among the children. Armed with her woven basket and the amulet of her ancestors hanging from her neck, she moved softly, her bare feet never disturbing the peace of the forest. Suddenly, a low, pained growl rippled through the trees. Abeni froze. At first, she thought it might be a wild boar, but then she saw her, a majestic lioness, her golden fur matted with blood, lying under a fig tree, her sides heaving with exhaustion and pain. Most would have run. Most would have screamed. But Abeni stepped forward, heart pounding, eyes wide. The lioness bared her teeth for a brief moment, then collapsed again, clearly too weak to fight. Abeni noticed her swollen belly. The lioness was heavily pregnant. Without thinking, as if pulled by something divine, Abeni knelt beside the great beast and whispered gently. She sang an old lullaby her grandmother used to hum while brewing healing roots. Slowly, cautiously, she cleaned the wounds on the lioness's side using the herbs she had gathered. The lioness watched her, eyes glowing with pain and trust. Hours passed. Then came the labor. Abeni stayed through the night, guiding, comforting, soothing, and by dawn, 3 tiny lion cubs lay beside their exhausted mother. It was a miracle. Abeni smiled through her tears, whispering blessings in the tongue of the ancients. But she did not know that high above them, hidden among the trees, unseen eyes had watched everything, and that her act of compassion had awakened something sacred, something powerful. She returned to the village, her clothes torn and bloodied, her basket empty of herbs but her soul full. When she told her grandmother what had happened, Nana Lami's eyes widened in a way Abeni had never seen. "You have crossed a line between this world and the next," she said in a hushed voice. "The lion is the guardian spirit of Nyoka forest. To save its blood is to make a vow with the spirit realm." Days passed, then weeks. Strange things began to happen. The children who had been sick suddenly healed without medicine. Crops began to grow faster. Rain came just when it was needed. Even the oldest dying tree in the center of the village began to blossom with golden flowers that had not bloomed in decades. The elders whispered that a blessing had come upon them. But not all were pleased. Chief Makoda, the village leader, felt his power slipping. People began to come to Abeni for advice. Not him. They called her daughter of the forest, lion's keeper, and worse, the chosen. In secret, he met with the village council, weaving tales of sorcery and forest spirits taking human form. Meanwhile, Abeni felt a growing pull toward the forest. At night, she dreamed of the lioness and her cubs, of a glowing tree with roots that touched the stars, of a whisper that said, "You are not who you think you are." One evening, she followed the call into the forest again. The path seemed different now, smoother, alive, as though guiding her. She arrived at the fig tree again. Only this time the lioness stood tall, eyes clear, coat shimmering like gold. One by one, the cubs stepped forward, no longer babies but nearly grown, eyes fierce yet gentle. The lioness walked to Abeni and bowed her great head. Then, to her astonishment, she spoke, not with a mouth but into Abeni's mind. "You saved the life of the guardian mother," she said. "And for that, your life will never be the same." She told Abeni that she was the last in a long line of forest guardians, protectors of the ancient balance between mankind and nature. Her blood carried the mark of the lion clan, a lineage thought to be extinct after the great purge of the spirit tribes generations ago. The lioness, whose name was Nyasha, had been waiting for the one who would mend the broken bond. "But I'm just a girl," Abeni whispered. "No," the lioness replied. "You are the one the forest chose." Abeni returned home shaken, confused, yet strangely calm. Her dreams deepened. Her senses sharpened. She began to heal with just her hands. She could understand the rustling of leaves like words. But soon Chief Makoda made his move. One morning, the village awoke to see a notice nailed to the sacred baobab. "Abeni, accused of witchcraft and forbidden communion with beasts, is hereby banished from Baal village." The crowd gathered, torn between fear and love. Her grandmother pleaded with them, but fear is a powerful poison. They forced Abeni out, giving her only a calabash of water and a blanket. As she walked toward the forest edge, she did not cry. Instead, she looked back one last time, then disappeared into the green shadows. What the villagers did not know was that in banishing her, they had unknowingly set into motion an ancient prophecy. The lioness waited at the border, flanked by her cubs. "Welcome home," she said. And with that, Abeni stepped fully into her destiny, the girl who saved a lioness and awakened the power of the forest. The forest welcomed Abeni not as an outcast, but as a long-lost daughter returned to her rightful home. Under the ancient fig tree, where she had once saved the pregnant lioness, a hidden sanctuary emerged. Vines moved on their own to form a dwelling, roots shifted to carve paths, and fireflies hovered around her like stars caught in the trees. The lioness Nyasha guided her deeper into the sacred lands few humans had ever seen, where the spirit animals of old still walked. The elephant king with tusks of light, the cheetah who ran faster than thunder, the owl whose eyes saw both past and future. In whispers, the forest revealed Abeni's true lineage. Her mother, long believed to have died giving birth, was once a powerful forest whisperer who sacrificed her life to seal away a darkness that once tried to consume Nyoka. Her bloodline was one of the ancient tribes tasked with protecting the balance between man and nature. But over time, these guardians were hunted down by greedy chiefs and jealous kings who feared their powers. Abeni's very existence was a secret preserved by the spirits, until the day she proved herself by saving Nyasha. Now, the mantle had passed to her. As days turned into weeks, Abeni trained with Nyasha and the spirit beasts. She learned the language of wind, how to summon rain with song, how to heal with touch and intention, and most importantly, how to command the lion's roar, a sacred ability that could bend nature itself, but at a cost. But far away in Baal village, things were falling apart. Without Abeni, the blessings faded. Crops withered. The fever returned stronger. Water sources dried. And worst of all, hunters reported a shadow stalking the edge of the forest. A beast that killed without feeding, a monstrous creature that left ash in its wake. Chief Makoda, now desperate to hold power, blamed Abeni again, claiming her witchcraft had cursed them. He sent men to burn the forest edges and flush her out. But what they awakened instead was far worse. The sealed darkness, a creature made from hatred and decay, once locked away by Abeni's mother, had stirred. It called itself Balul, the devourer of harmony, and it grew stronger each time a tree fell, each time fear triumphed over love. The balance was breaking. One night, as Abeni meditated beside a glowing stream, the sky turned red. Nyasha rushed in, eyes wild. "The devourer has returned." Abeni stood, heart racing but steady. "Then I must face him." "You are not ready," said the lioness. "You are powerful, yes, but not whole." Abeni looked at her reflection in the water, the same face she had known all her life, and yet now, carrying the memory of ancestors, the roar of lions, and the heartbeat of a forest. "Wholeness is not perfection," she whispered. "It is accepting what I must become." That night, the spirit animals held a council beneath the great flame tree. Abeni stood in the center as each guardian offered her a gift. Speed from the cheetah, sight from the owl, strength from the elephant, wisdom from the turtle, and fire from the sunbird. Nyasha approached last and bowed deeply. "And I give you the courage to lose everything, if it means saving what you love." Abeni's eyes burned with silent tears. Before dawn she set out alone. At the border between village and forest, the devourer waited, a shifting mass of shadow, claws like thorns, eyes like burning coals, its voice 1,000 screams. It had already scorched 3 nearby farms. Children cried. Elders prayed. And Chief Makota, trembling in his cowardice, hid behind his throne of lies. As Abeni stepped into view, the villagers gasped. She wore a robe made of golden lion mane and leaf-woven armor. Her feet floated slightly above the ground, and her presence radiated a deep calm, like rain after drought. "You banished me," she said to no one in particular, "but I never stopped protecting you." Bolo laughed, the sky crackling with thunder. "You are but a girl playing with sticks and stories." But Abeni closed her eyes, summoned the roar, and the ground trembled. From the trees came Nyasha and the 3 grown cubs, flanking her like royal guards. The villagers stepped back in awe as vines rose from the soil, encircling the devourer, slowing it. The beast fought back, launching fire and smoke. But Abeni's voice sang the lullaby, the same one she had sung to Nyasha long ago, and for a brief moment even Bolo paused. That pause was enough. Abeni called upon the roar, not of a lion but of the earth itself. Wind, water, flame, and spirit surged into her, lifting her into the air. She became the storm, the healing rain, the fierce protector. She charged forward, slamming her palm into the creature's core. A blinding light exploded. When the light faded, Abeni lay motionless, her body cradled in Nyasha's paws. The villagers approached slowly, many weeping. Nana Lami, though frail, pushed through the crowd, clutching her granddaughter's amulet. She placed it on Abeni's chest, and with a final whisper of the lullaby, Abeni gasped, her eyes fluttering open. She had survived, barely, but the devourer had been sealed again, this time forever. The forest breathed in peace. And the villagers, ashamed and awed, knelt before her. Chief Makota, seeing his end, tried to flee, but the forest would not let him. Roots dragged him away, never to be seen again. In time, a shrine was built at the edge of Nyoka Forest in Abeni's honor. She did not return to live in the village, but became the guardian of the forest, a bridge between 2 worlds. Children would often leave flowers and songs at the edge of the woods, hoping to catch a glimpse of the lion's daughter. And every so often, when danger threatened the balance again, they would see her, a silhouette of a woman walking beside lions, with fire in her eyes and peace in her heart, the girl who saved a lioness and in doing so, changed not just her life, but the destiny of an entire world.